Welcome, everyone, to our Two Posh podcast,
Hello.
episode 39, which is really,
Wow.
whoa, we have done 40 because the introduction doesn't count as a number, but this is episode 39.
Congratulations.
Cool. Thank you. And welcome to my beautiful co-hosts, my daughter Marcella,
Hello.
and Whitley,
Hi.
my son's girlfriend, and our beautiful guest today, Miss Aimee.
Hi. Hello.
We just want to thank everyone for listening again, and please subscribe to our channel and tell your friends about it. Leave us a comment, leave us notes.
If you want to come on.
Yes, if you have a story you want to share, please contact us. Please contact us soon. We're booked out very, very, very far. So
That's a great thing.
It's a
Y'all
very
have some
great
great
thing.
people in your lives, though.
Yeah. We do.
Yeah.
So that we're
Great
really
circles.
blessed. So very excited.
And now you're in it. You're like
You're in
stuck
it,
with
yes,
us.
and
Happy.
we're
I know.
glad to be in yours too.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you first, because we're going to continue with the show we had that will be Wednesday's show, so this will be Friday. Your brand is This Empowered Life. Tell me, I love that name. I
Yeah,
love that
too.
brand.
Thank
Tell me
you.
a little bit where it came from. What is it about?
So it's kind of new. I mean, I'm so bad about time. Are y'all like that? Like you don't know when
Mhm.
things happened or when
Yes.
you started
I don't
something?
know what day it
how
is.
old
Yeah,
I was
today.
right. So it's probably sometime in the last year that I wanted to come up with a brand.
I forgot that a long time ago.
Sorry.
Sorry, I just heard.
I forgot how old I was
I
today.
had to check my ID. I really forgot. I was like, oh my gosh.
which
am
I'm
I-
fine with.
But sorry.
I was not
Sorry,
checking
no,
my
that's
ID.
totally.
Back to This
No.
Empowered Life.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. So I wanted to, I'm so passionate about lots of different things that I wanted an umbrella to be able to speak about all of it. And I'm super passionate about women, helping them get out of their own way, helping them learn how to self-talk, teaching them how to love themselves at all stages.
Yeah.
Not just, it started when I was a personal trainer, and women just would always say, I want to weigh what I weighed in high school. I'm like, okay, but we're like 35. So let's get real. So it's like loving yourself at each stage. So I wanted to talk about empowering women. And so the brand came from This Empowered Life so that I could talk about my empowered life, your empowered life, my children's empowered life, or raising children and their empowered life, marriage. I'm so passionate about marriage and communication. And so it just gave me an umbrella to talk about all the things.
I love
Broad
that.
What makes
spectrum.
me feel beautiful as a woman, whether I wanted to sell a product or be affiliated with a product that helped me feel beautiful and be able to share it with somebody, then I could have that. Like, it just was my umbrella of This Empowered Life.
I love that.
So
Cool.
Very, very
Thank
nice.
you.
Creative.
Very creative. Now, your success and rise to fame, basically, because you are famous in your company, and it's called Synergens.
Synergens
correct? Do I say that
International.
right?
Yeah, Synergens.
I had never heard of that before I met you ever. So do you want to tell us a little bit about
Sure.
that?
So Synergens as a company, you know, I love to have my own brand, you know, like me as my person is my brand. And the company that I represent is Synergens, which is long-lasting skincare and long-lasting makeup and incredible skincare. And so that's how I make a living.
But you make a really good living.
Make a
with
really
that.
good living.
When did you get into that?
It's August will be 2 years.
Oh, very
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, very new. So like in my
Whoa.
first 5 months, I had a team that sold $1 million in products. And so in the time that, you know, just shy of 2 years, it's around 12 million.
How
Gosh.
how does that
Gosh,
work? How do you
I don't-
even
yeah.
start that? I mean, I'm always, I know a little bit about these kind of companies.
Yeah,
My
direct
husband-
sales. Yeah, multi-level marketing.
Multi-level marketing. And sometimes it can be super, super hard. Like, there is people that are successful in it.
Mhm.
The people that are successful in it are usually living great lives, and it's unbelievable. I know several of them. Sometimes it can get really overwhelming, though. And how did you make that happen so fast and so successful? Is it because of your circle and so
Because
many
I'm
great
unapologetic.
people?
I'm unapologetic about it. I believe in the company. I believe in the products. It's been around. The company's been around for 20 years. Started
Started
by
by
started by a single mom that wanted a different line of products and wanted a different business model than what she was exposed to. And she
Cool.
herself was a distributor and worked her way around California. she couldn't get any investors. So she had to go sell the product with like 6 tubes of lipstick and built this
like door to door.
Like literally she built it. And so she gets it, and she's somebody that I can text right now and she'll respond, like somebody that treats me very well. And it's amazing. It's amazing to be a part of that, and the sisterhood, the friendships that I have. I mean, such high caliber, high vibe women. It's really something amazing to be a part of. And I feel so passionate about helping women get out of their own thing, whether they've lost themselves in momhood or they've lost themselves in a marriage, or they just need a little
bad relationship,
relationship, or they need a little extra money to pay for this or that, or whatever it is.
Or dance.
Yeah. I mean, everybody always needs a little bit more money. Right. And so, being able to provide a business opportunity for women that's very inexpensive to get into, and then they can do what they want with it. I mean, there's no pressure. You know what I mean? Like if you want to make $200 a month, do that.
Yeah.
If you want to make, $20,000 a month, then do that. Like you do you, and there's a place for all of that. So I just feel
But you did this and just ran with it. And
yeah, I knew like
cool.
when one of my girlfriends actually was, I approached her and I'm like, hey, can I get a free lip color if I have a Facebook party for you? Like I'm that girl. And she is like, yeah. So we did that. And I think in like 5 days we sold $2,000 worth of stuff. And I said, wait a second, hold on. So, because I was a self-employed personal trainer at the time. And I was like, so if I make this a business and I launch this as my business, how much money will I make? And she was like, well, you'll make half of it. You'll make $1,000. I was like, okay, sign me up. Like, even if I never do a thing again, like, let's do this. And then I just was like, I saw the opportunity and ran with it. So now I have a team, a big team, and I have like,
because the real money is made when you sign people up underneath you.
You can make 50% of your sales, but the real money is in your team. But I have 6 other million+ team members on my team. So it's not
Are
just
they family
my
members?
my sister is. So that's when I love saying that when people are like, everybody I know, I'm like, okay, first of all, we have like less than 1% of the female population in every state. But if both my sisters and my mom and my aunt and my cousin, we all do this together, and we have, you don't know all the people. Everybody knows people.
Yeah. But that was, I was going to ask you how it's always been intriguing to me or interesting to me, because I have never done it, because it's just different mindset, but I've always been interested in it. And what you hear bad things about it. And I like to not talk about the bad, but the good, which you are an example of it. You always hear, well, once you get through all your family and friends, then what?
Well, that's just, your family and friends are never going to make you a living. Like, they really aren't.
Right.
I mean, for me, building relationships is my job. So building authentic, real relationships with women and connecting with them. And so I'm always out, like, I don't ever have to push my products. Yeah. I mean, women buy makeup anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. And I know that
that's I mean, you go in wanting one thing and you leave $300. You're like,
so women love to feel beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love to do women's makeup. I don't have anything bad. Like, I don't have any bad experience. I've been a part of companies where I've had bad experiences for sure. And I see other people, I'm like, that's what gives multi-level marketing a bad name. But that's like with anything. I mean, you can get a bad lawyer, you get a bad doctor.
Anything.
It's with anything.
Well, your makeup always looks beautiful.
Oh,
You look
you.
so you're a good representation of the
Thank
company
you.
because of you.
And you post, like, you're very active on social media.
Well, it's that connection.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing.
That's
So
awesome.
thank
So
you.
how did this change your life?
Well, I will never go back to work for anybody else again. I mean, I was working full time. It's funny. I kind of started becoming my mom. So I had 2 little children, and I wrote about this today on Facebook and Instagram, actually, about, I posted a picture of my kids when they were very little, and I'm like, oh man, I just missed that time. And wish I could go back. I wish I had more video recordings. I wish I was more present. And I was like working a full-time job. I was going to college full-time at night, online, and
Just
I had
trying
these
to
2
make
little
a better
kids.
living and
Make a better living. But I was actually working and purchasing, government purchasing, and they were like, you can run the department if you get your degree. I didn't have my degree. And so I'm like, okay, so here I am. I'm going to go to college at night and have these 2 little kids just so I can get that, be gifted that or whatever. And and then I started personal training in the mornings and doing boot camps. I got my
it's like 3 jobs,
it
really,
was-
if you think about it.
yeah, I got my certification and I started doing that and it became really successful. And I told my ex-husband, I said, you know, I know that I can do this. It's really scary. People would always say, you should be in sales. And I'm like, no, I'm never going to, like, I would rather have a small, consistent paycheck than to not know if I'm going to get paid. You know, like that is way too scary.
It's very, very hard.
Yeah. And the second I released that, it took a lot of work and a lot of therapy, but not about that, about other things that I could like shed all the other things to really blossom into who I needed to be. I was able to quit my job and double up on my classes and make double the income. It afforded me to get a divorce that I needed to get and buy a new house and move on in my life. And so I've never made more money in my life than once I made that decision to never have another boss. So it's that all that stuff that made me independent and rebellious and successful when I was a kid in the wrong areas really
Now use them in the
made
right
me
way.
thrive as an adult once I stopped telling myself those other wrong stories. You know, whatever you tell yourself is what you're going to believe.
Right.
Yeah.
We're very
I love that.
rebellious around here.
So I guess to answer your question about how it's changed my life is like, I know that I will never go back and work for anybody else. I mean, this really, and I get to travel. Next month, I'm going to Australia.
I was just gonna
I
say,
wanna
you
go
have
there.
traveled
I
so
do
much.
too.
I mean, this is 2 years you have been doing this. Where
Yeah.
have you gone?
Oh my gosh. I get a lot of earned trips, obviously
What does that mean?
earned means free.
Basically,
Yeah.
I like that word.
Yeah. So my husband and I just went to Costa Rica in January, and I took my mom to Cabo in June before that. I get to go on like leadership retreats. So, for instance, this month I'm taking my kids to Disney. It's an earned trip, so it's free.
Which Disney?
World. So we have like
Is
hopper.
that Orlando?
That's Orlando.
Oh,
Yeah.
my brother works there.
Yeah, and we're staying at like one of the resorts and all.
So what resort
Cool.
can you get on those free trips?
What they're like specific. So there's 2 main trips a year that everybody can earn. So like the one
Two a year.
main, 2 that one's like based on sales and then the next one's based on sponsoring. So
What does
like
that mean?
That's cool.
Cabo last year, a year ago, was based on sales. Like basically that means that if somebody comes in, they're really great at selling, you can make it. And then also you can make another trip if you're really great at sponsoring, but you're not great at selling products. So there's
Sponsoring means
So you can either
people.
get 2 or one of the other.
sponsoring, meaning like you bring on team members.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have options, you know. So last year Cabo was for sales, and then Costa Rica was for sponsoring, and then this Disney is for sales. And then I've gone to
How long are those trips?
They're 5 days.
5 days.
Mm-hmm. Next month or this month I'm going to Disney with the kids, and I'm like not a Disney person. I'm
Oh my
like a
gosh.
chill by the pool person. So it's a little overwhelming. And like my girlfriend texted me today and said that's going, and she said, so how do you connect your hopper passes to the thing? I'm like, do you know me? Like I have not done any of that.
Yeah.
No. So
You have
then
to get that app, like the line thing, right? You
Yeah.
had that when we went.
Yes.
and then in August I'm going to Aspen.
You have to plan
Ugh.
it.
Yeah,
by
so
the
we're
way.
doing a leadership retreat. We're staying at this place called the Gaunt. It's
Ooh,
like
I
a
wanna go there.
fantastic, like little boutique place. And so I think there will only be like maybe 60 of us that are 5 million and above, or not earners, 5 million and above team sizes. So we get like high level training, we get spoiled.
Yeah, that's so
and then
cool.
That is cool.
July, I'm going to Australia. I was asked to be, I was the U.S. distributor chosen to go train the Australian distributors.
Wow,
What?
that's
So,
awesome.
at one of their events. So
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
When you found that out, were you?
I
freaking
screamed.
out?
My mentor and our senior vice president of global sales called me, and she was like, so I have some exciting news that hopefully I can twist your arm. You've been chosen to go train on social media to the Australian distributors. And I was like, shut up. And she said, I will not shut up. So I just screamed. I got off the phone with her, and my kids were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I was so excited. So
That's so
That's
cool.
cool.
yeah,
Now,
really exciting.
Was that after? Because the trip to Las Vegas is what I saw on your social media, and I was like, oh my gosh.
My goodness.
You were recognized on stage in front of 8,000
Oh.
women.
That was in Tulsa. That was in Tulsa in April.
Oh,
I did go to Las Vegas, but last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got it wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure
okay.
that's just like
It wasn't.
unbelievable.
We are based out of Irvine, California, and Sapulpa, Oklahoma. So that's where our owner is from. So she's like rebuilding the city of Sapulpa, and we are. So, anyways, we have these big seminars. Yes, and
you were recognized.
Yeah,
in front of 8,000 people. Did you know that was going to happen?
I did. Yeah, and I was asked to speak. So we had like these
in
breakout
front of
sessions.
2,000 people. She
people.
spoke
Wow.
public speaking.
But you're such a great speaker.
I was about to say,
Well,
like,
thank
speak
you, but
so
I'm
well.
terrified. Like,
Are you?
still, y'all,
I'm not good at it either.
we have this special.
I like it.
Oh
she
gosh,
loves it.
I was the girl that like ran off. I was terrified. It was awful. Well, when I was asked to speak, I'm so honored and I'm so blessed, and I have all these like extreme emotions about like being blessed, being grateful, and being honored, and then horrific fear, because I feel like I'm gonna lose my words when I get up there. Like I have all these things to say, but then I lose my words, and then it's like boob sweat everywhere, and, you know. Yeah. So it's a real, and your body goes into like fight or flight.
Yeah.
So we had this amazing green room for those women that were like $5 million teams. Or we had like this green room where there was like all the good drinks, like coffees and snacks and yummy things, and then it was like quiet. So because when you have a big team, and especially when you're going to speak and people know you, then you're like can't get away from people in the hall. So we had like this special quiet space where we could prep and we could do whatever. So I was like getting emotional prepping before my session, and some girls wrapped their arms around me and prayed around me, and like I was very nervous, but it went really great. And I was like, I always want to show my personality. I always want to be kind of funny, and I want to like make it lighthearted. And you know, and I ended up like saying ridiculous things. That they made this meme of me that I said, because I said something like I was speaking on skincare, and I was telling them like that was my whole intention of the speech was upgrading to skincare. And so I was telling them, you know, if you are going to put makeup on a face, it needs to be well treated skin, you know, because no makeup is going to look good on bad skin.
Right. And
then we sell like the special lipstick. So I was like, and no lipstick is going to look good on a jacked up face. And then I was like, oh my God, I said that. And everybody died laughing. And so they were like, no lipstick is going to look good on a jacked up face. Aimee Enlow. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
that's the thing. That's the takeaway. Yeah.
That's funny.
So
though.
it's fun. Yeah.
It's true.
So as long as I can like get in my groove to like be lighthearted like that, then I know I'm in my spot, you know.
I hate
and
public
your
speaking.
family was featured in the company's
Oh my gosh.
magazine.
Yeah. So
They were like,
partnered
they had
with-
like how many pages was that?
It was one. It was
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
thought it was
Success
double.
Magazine has Success Magazine. We do oh my gosh. Acclaim is the magazine by Success Magazine.
Okay.
So we were featured in the family section about how to be able to raise children with like bigger views, and that's a huge part of why I do this, so that I can give my kids different opportunities, and teach them it doesn't have to just be one way, you know.
Yeah.
They are they have two parents that are very, very different, and one lives in a small box and one doesn't have a box, you know. And so I just want to show them all the ways.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
How old are your children?
They're 10 and 13.
So that leads me into your 13-year-old had some issues at school with bullying. And I am such a big believer on certain things, on how to raise children. Everyone knows my stance. I do not back down on certain things that I believe in, especially with our social media days and the cell phones, et cetera, and I am very strict about it. And when I read what you had said, I was like, oh my gosh,
Another parent like
another
me.
parent that is like me, that believes in it. And I was so proud of you, because it was so heartbreaking what happened to her. But you turned it into, tell us about it. I want to hear it from you.
She is she's a little me. So I get her, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, we are so close. It's really weird to me, because I didn't have that really, you know, and I didn't ever feel understood. And I feel like we just get along so well, and I really appreciate that. And there was a time when she was like 9, and she said, her cousin, she said, I will never be like her, like teenager, sassy. I will never talk back. And I'm like, okay. And I recorded it, and I posted on Facebook
I need you to
at the
write
time.
this
I'm like,
down.
this is a thing she
I
just said.
still tell it. My children
yeah.
said that to me.
And I remind her now, like, you remember you said this, but
I never said that.
she's a good kid, and she's very kind, and she's very intuitive. And she got bullied, but it's been a thing with her. She's very sensitive to peers, and so she can get her feelings hurt. But that was very valid. And we just have this no social media rule. I tell her there are so many adults that can't even handle, that are not emotionally emotionally mature enough to handle social media. It's nothing against you. I just cannot expect you to handle that. And I also don't want that to be your reality. I don't want you to be worrying about likes and that being your affirmation. And that's actually how this conversation came up, because I told her, you are so perfect the way you are, and you do not need anybody affirming you. And I post on social media for business. It's my business, and it's building relationships, and I have a brand, and I work for myself, and it's very different. She knows, like, for me, social media is work. I'm not posting worrying about how many likes I'm going to get. I mean, I don't care, or else I'd have like bots on Instagram or something, like I care about real authentic relationship building. So that's when she told me that, like, she had been being bullied at school. And so she has no phone, and that's okay. She's okay with it. She never ever said anything or gives me a hard time or never even says anything. I do need to go make it like a dumb phone. No texting. It can call, and she can play some games as long as they're not social media. But I didn't even get upset with her. I didn't get upset with her because I can't expect her to keep fighting this fight that is every day in their face.
So you're saying you took her phone altogether?
I took her phone altogether.
So she doesn't have one at all?
Because she had just gotten it back she had it gone like 2 months before that, and she had it just gotten it back, had it back about 2 weeks, and then broke the rules again.
She got social media. Like, what was the rule?
The first time she broke the rules, she's not supposed to text boys or exchange texts with boys either. She was 12. And so she had her phone taken away because she changed some girls' contacts to boys.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, girlfriend,
Marcella used to do
that.
Yeah.
I'm like, old rule girlfriend. Like, I know better,
Yeah.
And so, I took her phone away, and then I gave it back. And that's when not only was boys, as I was holding her phone, like going through checking things, that second time, boy text. Well, it was a number not saved.
Yeah.
And which I later found out was a boy. I'll tell you what happened. So, and then I went to Safari, and she had gone and created an Instagram on Safari. So the reason I hadn't blocked Safari, because moms, if you don't know, you can block Safari. You can just take it away from the app. You can take the app away. Well, I hadn't because of school. She could do so much on her phone, check things, and other teachers. So,
I hate how helpful phones are.
Yeah. So I
checked.
So her Instagram was so cute, though. She was like putting out such sweet and good stuff, but so it made me proud of that.
Yeah.
However, the rule's a rule, and she broke it. So I went into her room. I'm like, you want to talk about something? Your phone? And she's like, they just started texting me like 2 days ago. And I'm like, nope, I'm talking about the Instagram, but thanks for that,
Yeah.
And so I took her phone away altogether. Yeah, because she just can't handle the responsibility, and that's like, okay, she's telling me. It's like when someone tells you who they are, shows you who they are, you got to believe them, right?
That's what you always say, that kids are begging for discipline.
They
right?
are.
Yes.
They need the structure.
They need the help from the parents to help them deal with what they can handle at a certain age. That's what I believe in very, very big. I go back to that thing that the luggage sometimes is too heavy for them to carry, and their brain, there's certain things in life that's too heavy for their brain.
Too much. It was too much for her.
And it's not good.
Yeah.
And
now she's free of that. She doesn't have to worry about it. And you know what's interesting? I don't know if y'all know this. I'm sure you don't, because we haven't said it publicly. I think we're going to do a live about it. But I've pulled her out of school, and we're homeschooling. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So not as a reactive thing. Like, this is just like
so good.
She's at 13. She's going into 8th grade, and I'm like, okay, here I am. Like, you know how purpose leads to purpose, blessing leads to blessing, and you think it's for this thing, and then you realize it's for this thing, or your purpose just grows. Well, it could not be more different, right, than how I was raised. And so now if I have the option to give her a complete different path in life in creating who she is, then it would be very selfish of me to not do that.
Yeah.
And so
Is she happy about it?
she wants to.
She's
She's very
to.
excited. She's
Aw.
excited because she wants to. She knows like it's hard to segregate social from school, from academic, and she's dyslexic, and she had just finished her dyslexic program through school, so she'll have that.
Is she creative at all?
She's creative.
Does she like anything like what does she like to do? Does she like to sing, act?
She
dance?
loves to sing. She's in choir.
She needs to come to a
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah,
Oh,
Julie's
yeah.
school. Well, it's
I-
not a school. It's a
It's a performing arts conservatory,
Yeah.
and they do school half the day, and then dance,
Oh, yeah.
very
acting,
small.
singing,
Oh, yeah.
and band.
Oh yeah, so she's
There's
singing.
18 kids.
Oh yeah, her
It's the
her
best
favorite
place.
thing is singing. That's been one of her biggest concerns is choir because she's
You
her.
guys should really talk about that.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
after.
Okay,
It is the best place.
That's my heart. You know, that being my personality, the hardest thing is like developing the curriculum. And I know like that. I have a girlfriend that owns a another school that's really great for homeschoolers. Like if they go, it's taught by college professors, and you can go like one day a week and get the
Mhm.
hard classes, especially when you're
Mhm.
in high school. And she said,
I did that too. with my
yeah, and she said, you know, it doesn't have to be this way. She doesn't have to be bullied. No kid should have to go through what she's
Mm-mm.
going through. So if you want to talk about homeschooling, and let's chat. And we actually had a coffee date for her daughter and my daughter, and that was one of the biggest concerns with my daughter was like, do you feel like you have social life? And she's like, oh my gosh, there's like unlimited social, and I can do more social things. And then I
Mhm.
think, gosh, we can do so much together. We can go to the gym together in the morning. I can work. She can do her schoolwork, and then she can get a
Yeah.
little job, and I can teach her how to do money, and she can travel. Like
It's so much
just-
better. I
oh,
wish
yeah.
that they had the stuff they
Me
have
too.
now
Right.
for
Oh my
them.
gosh.
I'm very excited, but we
It's-
haven't really talked about it publicly.
But
Yeah,
it's the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Especially in today's age.
I want to
But
keep her age.
Yeah.
That's your biggest thing. There's
my
not a
biggest
lot
thing.
of people like that anymore. Like you
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
like you moms.
I love keeping them their age. Like I love like Jolie still sleeps with a stuffed animal, and
Yeah.
she's
Mhm.
14, and that should be okay. It's like there's nothing
I do
wrong with that.
Yeah.
like I actually was thinking about getting a stuffed animal the other day. I was like, sleep with
Gino
one.
bought it for me.
Yeah.
And I love
Yeah,
it.
There's nothing wrong
Autumn
with
is
that.
not into like watching. A lot of girls are into like what makeup tutorials and
Mm.
YouTube.
Like,
She
Jolie
likes
does
to,
like that.
she
Yeah.
likes to watch like life hacks on
Mhm.
YouTube,
Oh, I
like
love that.
you know,
Yeah.
like figuring out funny
Yeah.
things how to do. She's just really not. She's just now got her first denim skirt, like because she wears
Aw.
athletic clothes all
Yeah.
the time, and so she's just now edging into girliness.
Fashion.
So much so that
Little
like
bit.
she'll straighten her hair and then put it up in a ponytail with a headband on. I'm like, why did you even do that?
Yeah.
So
Just learning to
just
find
a little
herself.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Aw.
I
Now-
like that.
Let's talk
Yeah.
a little bit about your second husband and the challenges he has and how you deal with them and how you guys make it work, because you look so happily married and everything. And he is bipolar and a recovering addict. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about that.
So he's like the best ever. I didn't know that you could like really be married to your best friend. I really didn't think that was a real thing. And
Oh, I am.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
thought-
really special. And so many people settle and stay settled, which it blows me away. You know, I mean, it doesn't blow me away. I did it for like a billion years, but now at my place, I just it's sad. So we started dating long distance, and I was
How?
I was
Where did
with a
you
guy
meet?
friend, and we were out like local bar hopping and Halloween night, actually, both
yeah.
single. And I'd just taken my kids trick or treating, and then they went with their dad. So we were out, mingling, which never do, by the way. Like go out with another guy friend. You totally look like a couple. Like how
Yeah.
are we ever gonna meet anybody?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I was like, don't you have any guy friends that are philosophical, forward thinker, positive, and like a bigger guy? And he was like, that does not exist.
Yeah.
And then like sure enough, an hour later, a different bar, he got a Facebook message from my husband of a Tinder screenshot, because my husband had just moved to Tennessee, and he said like, oh, I forgot, I'm not in Dallas, I'm in Tennessee. And it was kind of a joke. And so he was like, oh, I do have this friend, his name is Ben. And he said, but he moved to Tennessee about a year ago. I'm like, of course he did. Show me.
Yeah.
And he showed me. I was like, shut up. Like, I'm not
Like
very
you
vain at all.
liked
But
him?
yeah, but like could not be more my type physically.
Yeah.
And so after a couple drinks, Like I had already had a couple drinks.
Yeah.
So at that moment, I friend requested him and messaged him because, you know, you got to go after what you want in life. And so I was like, hi, I'm Aimee, and chatted a little bit that night. And then 3 or 4 days later, wrote him again. And I said,
you wrote again.
yeah, I wrote him again. I was like, let's have a redo. I mean, nothing inappropriate was said but like, I don't want to leave it on. I Facebook message you.
Yeah.
Drunk
Yeah.
and leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Facebook message, drunk and leave you. So, I was like, hey, just wanted to say hi and like really do this over. And I'm Aimee, you know?
Yeah.
And, we started writing each other for 3 or 4 days, and we talked that Saturday night. So exactly 1 week later on the phone, and we talked for 4.5 hours that night.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, oh my gosh, we could just have talked forever. And so we did this long distance thing. Oh, this was crazy though. On Facebook, when we became friends, I was like, how do you know? We have 12 mutual friends.
Yeah.
How do you know all these people?
Yeah.
Like these people, I was CrossFitting at the time. I was like, how do you know these people? I work out with them every day. And
my
he was like, they're my best friends from college. Like we
Oh,
were in each other's
weird.
first weddings, first weddings, you know, best
love
friends, like family. And I
that.
said, shut up. So he came in town. Actually, I went to Mexico like the next week, and I'm like, okay, we'll see. And it was so fun because, you know, you don't have any obligation. So I would like drunk FaceTime him and stuff when I was in Mexico. And then he came to visit, and I picked him up from the airport, and I was I'm so serious about being authentic all the time in all the ways. So he came in late, like on a Friday night at 9 or 10. And I remember I picked him up wearing yoga pants and a flip-flops and like a t-shirt and I didn't have any makeup on either.
What?
Because I was like, he's either going to like me how I am. Like, this is how it would be on a Friday night at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
If he weren't coming in town.
Yeah.
So this is how I'm going to be. Like, I'm not going to get dressed for him. I just was like very,
Wow.
which is
Yeah.
funny because
I've never
now
done that.
I really love to get dressed up for him. It's like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
love we do weekly date nights, and it's like I love to do that. But at
Yeah.
that time, I am who I am. You're either gonna like me or not, like
Yeah.
because of my past relationships. So, he about a year in, we got married. We got
So when you
engaged.
saw him and when he saw you first, what happened?
We were so excited, but we were both nervous. And we stayed up that whole night talking. Like I had a 2-seater like double chase thing, and we sat up all night just talking. It was
cool.
so great. Yeah. And then the next morning we went to the gym and worked out together with our mutual friends. And then that Saturday night,
Oh, that he knew too.
that he knew.
Yeah.
And then that
Funny.
Saturday night we went to their house and had like a 4-couple dinner party. And I was like, we were walking up and I was like, this is so weird. These are your friends and these are my friends. This is bizarre. But that also, after dating, gave me so much comfort. And like these people were like, such a good guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
And he had been married before?
he had been
'Cause-
married, and his son was in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
So I like had a lot of fear. A lot of my journaling in Ireland is about that, because we were like getting to like the I love you point, and he had dropped everything and moved to Tennessee and to be with his son. So I was like, okay, here I am starting this relationship with this guy that specifically went to Tennessee to be with his son.
Yeah.
But when he was northeast, almost on the border of Virginia, and there's no jobs, no people in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's just very different. And so he had kind of like figured, I'm just going to be my son's dad, not date, not have a great job, and really like live the most minimal life because of that. And so then we met, and he was like, okay, there could be different options, but I'm the doer. I'm like the get it done. I'm creative minded, so I can think of all the ways.
Yeah.
You know, even now in our marriage, I'll be like, you could do all these things if you do it like this, you know. And then because he's just thinking one thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's probably men versus women too.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say that.
So I was
We
able
make
to
it
like
work.
these
Yeah.
are some options. So we dated for a year, long distance, always going back and forth, doing like
whole
a
year,
whole
long
year,
distance.
and then doing a
Wow.
lot of
How
summer.
often did you see each
Every
other?
month,
Once
like
a
every
month?
3 weeks or so. And then we did a lot of summer vacations and stuff. Like me and the kids went there, and we all met in Florida. You know, just a
Cool.
lot of back and forth. And then we got engaged Thanksgiving. So a little over a year, we got engaged, and then we got married a year later. So it's been for 3 years. my gosh, 4 years.
What about?
Yeah.
4?
And it's the best. So a year in, right before we got married, I was with some girlfriends on a Friday night and I came home and he was like, so babe, I've been taking some tests online. And if I'm really honest with myself, I'm pretty sure I have bipolar disorder. So he had never been diagnosed before.
Wow.
And really, I think it has a lot
What
to,
prompted him to do that?
Yeah.
I think that he had been in so many unhealthy relationships or unhealthy life choices, unhealthy times, that he had never slowed down enough to be healthy and in a healthy, supportive relationship to recognize that some of the things were inside of him, not
did
external.
you see any signs of it?
No, like he is bipolar 1, which is manic bipolar. There's bipolar 1, bipolar 2. Bipolar 2 is depressive, and bipolar 2 a person never gets to the manic. They can go hypermania. So manic for him looks a little agitated, or if he would drink, there was a risk of whether or not he was going to be angry or like try to pick a fight
With you?
Yeah, but it was like 50-50, and only when he was drinking. So he being like, he's the most.
Was that a red flag for you though? No,
because the drinking was the issue. So like not who he is. I know his heart. It was like a switch would flip. And I'd be like, okay, that's not okay,
Yeah.
And so it only happened 2 times. And then that's when he said, like, I think I'm bipolar. So I have a girlfriend who has her doctorate in therapy. And so she teaches other therapists. And I called her. I'm like, Ben thinks he's bipolar. What do we do? And she's like, come over. And she helped us. And so he has been medicated now for his bipolar disorder for 2 years. And he loves taking his medication. He's high functioning bipolar. So there's like, what I've learned is that every person that has bipolar disorder looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he and I have gone together to some bipolar support meetings, and oh my gosh, some of those
Really?
stories are so devastating for what people, some people hallucinate, and there's all
I
different
have
extremes.
a friend who is bipolar.
Yeah.
She was on the show, Amber.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
people with depressive bipolar, they're the ones that you hear about them commit suicide without
Mhm.
help, and it's really hard. So his looks like agitation. It's anxiety. It's like
But
hot-
not like mean. It's just
Not mean.
mad.
no, like
Just
quickly irritable. Yeah, like irritable, where
Like anger issues. Like, is it? Could it be
definitely
that?
definitely probably has gotten in some issues where where you can't. It's like you're at a wall. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever had a fight with somebody and you feel like you can't get through, like they're in there, but what they're showing you is like this thing,
But isn't that normal? Partially. Like, when you're in a fight with someone.
I don't know. I'm not a
Must look-
screamer.
Yeah.
I'm not a fighter. I was raised in that environment, so I just like promised I would never be a screamer. And I don't know. I don't get that. I don't get mad easily. I don't react. I'm really like, I like to be non-reactive. So no, I don't think that's normal. I don't know.
No, just not to get through to someone when you're fighting, because everyone is mad.
It's a little
I was like,
different.
that's me.
Yeah, it's a little
Right.
Maybe
I
it's
feel
a
like
different.
it feels
What?
different
Maybe
because it
that's
feels
what
like
I'm
you're not
asking.
even talking to that person.
Okay.
Like it's a
Like,
different.
who are you?
Like who are you?
Yeah.
Like you're not even anybody I know.
Mm-hmm.
So that on medication, that doesn't.
Totally different.
Yeah, totally different. Like he's just but he's so emotional. He's such a loving and emotional person that I was a little scared, like in a selfish way. That's once he got on
Change.
medication, that would change because he
Mhm.
is so sensitive. And like we were in the car the other day, and he was talking about my son. I think one of the kids. He was talking about how proud he was of them, and he started tearing up in the car. And that's how sensitive he is. Like, and he made a joke about himself, like I'm such a baby or something. But I love that. I love that he's that connected emotionally to everything, and his eyes will well up like that. Like I love that about him. And so medication didn't change any of that.
It didn't.
No, it just made him. He would tell you that his anxiety is just at
Better.
bay. There's no anxiety. Like he
That's
thought
good.
people
Good.
lived like that. He thought everybody was like that.
Now, what kind of an addict was he? Because he's
Amphetamines, uppers. So like 80% of people with bipolar disorder self-medicate in their life because they don't know that they're bipolar, and they want to feel a certain way. So somebody that's like manic wants to feel that high level of energy. And anytime he felt like he was like coming down to like a normal level, he thought he was getting depressed. And so he would try to keep himself from feeling or being depressed. But now he knows that none of that was really like true depression.
So what would he take?
Adderall, cocaine,
Okay. Yeah.
meth,
That. Yeah.
anything that was like would up,
Yeah.
you know. So, but yet he like would go in. One time he took himself to the hospital, tried to get some help. And he's such a good looking guy that looks like he has it all together that they were like, you're just having a bad day. You're fine. You know,
Isn't that crazy?
Really?
There's no
Wow.
face.
There's
to-
no face.
Yeah.
I think you imagine anyone who's an addict as someone who's maybe like living like on the street and looks like
Yeah.
has a certain face.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the biggest, I feel like, misconception.
And even my girlfriend that met with us that first time, she said, I don't know if you have bipolar disorder. I mean, we're talking like struggle with jobs, done, check. Failed relationships, check. Like, like really bad things that if you look at bipolar disorder, the things that he's gone through are not near as bad as some people for sure. Not that it's a game of comparison, but compared to like my life, where I would say you've had a lot of jobs, like you've changed jobs a lot. And he would be like, no, I'm like, no, but in sales, you change jobs more for sure. But you know what I mean? Like there would be little things that it makes so much sense when you know what's going on with you. So now there's just this, he has to work on himself while he's in the program, and he works on himself every day. And we just live this like growth mindset life. And it's funny. I was telling my mom last week, I said, the first time I was married to former Marine, police officer, doesn't drink, very by the books,
Set in his ways.
Yeah. And then the second time I married somebody with bipolar disorder that has an addiction problem. And
Complete opposite.
on paper, yeah, you're like, okay, you like you make judgments on paper about which one would be successful. And I have the most loving, supportive, like healthy marriage. The communication is amazing. The way we love each other. I mean, it's just really, a marriage is hard, but we work on it every day. And back to why I do what I do, so that we can have that relationship. We don't have to both be rushing out the door at 6:30 in the morning, driving rush hour traffic to, like we can do our life the way that we want to do it. And
how does it work with the co-parenting? How is that working out?
I co-parent with my ex. Fantastic.
How does your new husband, how is that relationship with your
kids or
children? And yes.
Okay. So they love him. He loves them. They're super close. And I told him just yesterday that I'm so thankful he was telling me that he felt like he and my son have gotten even closer in the last year, and it just makes him so happy.
Aww.
And I said, I'm just so happy that you are in his life, because you are making him a better human, and you're showing him affection. We'll dance in the kitchen, or just so much fun. They're seeing a complete different side of what a relationship looks like, and I'm so thankful for him for that.
Do you have not like rules? It's hard for me to say that word, but since step parenting is difficult, it just is. Do you have any like guidelines? Maybe it's a better way for him, like how to deal with your children, because I did that with my husband, with my kids. Like it was kind of, something bothers you, tell me, because I'm the mom.
Yeah.
They can get mad at me, but they'll love me anyway. So I'll discipline them.
It's a little protecting.
Let me know. Yeah, because I always wanted for them to love him and for him to love them. And I didn't want there to be friction, because I feel like as a step parent, it's so difficult. Like if you discipline them, they're like, well, you're not my dad. Like, what are you thinking? Well, so I kind of tried really hard not to let that happen. And I think that's why they all have such a good relationship today.
Yeah. And that probably depends on the personality type. Like my husband is a supporter. So he's like, he's not going to automatically discipline. He, like my stepdad, my stepdad, I got beat with a belt and bent over the bathtub and spanked with a belt, and that was just the way it was.
With a belt.
Yeah. My no.
Like normal
so
to me.
that was never that was
not
definitely
like
not
hard,
a thing.
but
yeah.
But
And I don't know if that was
enough.
because my dad was out of the picture, but I mean I would be like 4, 5, 6, And so my husband does not really discipline. Like he started out where he would say, "Would your mom let you do that?" That's what he says. Would your mom let you do that? Like he never tells them. And he's also the easy guy. Like they want to go grocery shopping with him because he's going to buy all the crap, or they want him to pick him up from school because he's going to stop by Sonic, or like he is the sucker. He's the sucker. So I don't really have to.
But that's good.
Yeah.
That's what you want him to be.
Right. So I don't really have to man the discipline boat with him because if anything, I need help with his support. Like my daughter didn't make a team, and last night we were talking to her about it, and she was like, well, I'm used to it because I don't make any team and I don't just very, and so I told her something, and then he just backed me up with like more support. And so we kind of tag team like that. Yeah.
That's good.
What's hard is I have a 6-year-old stepson, and I will tell you that I do parent him like as a mom because he's little, and I've been in his life since he was 3. And so I do expect the same things I would expect of my kids, or if we're talking like no screen time or everybody's having enough screen time, that's everybody. And and he's way more sensitive than my kids, and it's probably because I'm not his mom. And so I have to be careful not to like have a stern voice, or I can just talk to my kids super direct and they're like, well, okay, whatever. But the hardest thing about co-parenting is the relationship between my husband and his ex was very fast. Got together, got married, got pregnant, had a baby, divorced. I mean, so fast and so tumultuous. And she makes parenting choices that are so hard as a mom. For example, we have this long distance parenting plan that we have in place now. And so we have him for 6 weeks in the summer. But until he's 8, we have this 2-block system. So she's responsible of getting him in between, like picking up from us, bringing him back to us. And then we do the outside legs. Well, we asked her the other day, what time are you going to come get him on this date? And she sent a screenshot of a flight where she's bought him a flight to have that unattended minor thing. Like, so no discussion. He's 6 years old, and we're supposed to take him to the airport, drop him off, and put him on a plane by himself.
At 6?
It like gives me just literal anxiety right
I don't
now.
even know him, and I have anxiety.
I do too. I can't even
and then
deal
last
with an
night
airport.
he tells us that he is left home alone sometimes, and especially when she just runs to the grocery store, or not to the grocery store, the gas station. But he's fine because he has his dogs, so he's fine, is what he said. So it is the hardest thing when you have a little one like that parents don't have the same values. And I'm very
when
lucky.
you're not on the same page, it's really hard, and it causes
so
a lot
impressionable.
Causes problems, really does. And it's sad because it shouldn't be that way. I mean, we're all adults, and you would think
and
make good decisions.
Values can be so different.
Yes, that's the other part.
Yeah. So we're really lucky that on the daily dealing with my kids and being local, we live 6 miles apart from the kid's dad, and we're very easy, and we have a very flexible schedule we get along fantastic. And the kids for a long time thought we were friends. I think they know now that we're probably not friends, but they were like, we can, they'll play each other against each other sometimes. And you gotta,
they try that.
Yeah. So it can be hard though.
Yeah, but
For
good
sure.
job for you.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Oh my gosh.
I talked to you so much,
Where
but
do I start? Like, I need to come back.
I know like you have just so many things that I'm
going to write a book about.
You're
Yeah.
writing a book.
Well, I'm starting it. So I just have decided therapeutically, although I always tell people it takes so much active work to work through your shit, and so then I think, okay, I want to write a book about my life, because I find that the more success I have, that people only see the success and they just assume
Everybody thinks that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, right?
You
haven't
seen what I did to get it.
Right. They have no idea. So I want to use it as a tool to help people, give permission to people to release their shit. But you always have to work on it. Like, there was a lot of therapy. I mean, that's why I got married so young, because I thought it was like loyalty and connection, and it was codependency and control, manipulation. So I just I'm going to be working on that so that I can kind of help more people hopefully release their shit.
I like that.
On that note,
Yeah, that's a perfect ending.
I know. Tell us your social handles, please.
This Empowered Life, both on Facebook and Instagram.
and Aimee
Enlow, yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
taking
me.
time out of your day.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and now we're gonna go see Katie's new salon.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we are.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to just say hi and see it and congratulate her. And thank you for everybody for listening, and tell your friends about it, and leave us a message and a review, and subscribe to us so you know
Yes.
every single show that comes out. And thank you again for everyone.
Thank you.
you.